Hallo, meine deutsche Freundin. That was German. I just said hello to my German friend. I really wanted to say something about her. Her real name is not Shirley, but I'm going to call her Shirley right now. I want to make sure you understand that I am not doing this alone. I could not be doing this without the help of this very good friend that I have in Germany. So, hallo. Later on, I'll teach you about greetings in German and all that, but my conscience was such that I had to say something about the enormous amount of help that she's giving me, even though I still have never actually met meine deutsche Freundin. Alright, this is the fifth day, first video, and a couple things to clean up. Heath Ledger was the guy whose name I could not remember, died tragically young. He starred in 10 Things I Hate About You. Just his name did come to me finally. Sam, that's my cousin's granddaughter, actually. And the reason I've got her, Samantha, the reason I've got her up here is because my cousin called me and she said, you know, Samantha, I think Samantha is 3. I don't think she's quite 4. And she ended up going almost by accident to a Shakespearean play, a live one, The Taming of the Shrew. And my cousin wanted me to know that Samantha not only understood it, had comments on it. She was only 3. Anyway, or is only 3. I wanted to mention that that's not a play that I think my cousin would normally tend to like. But you know, Samantha's comment, well, she was mean. She was mean. So she did not only watch it, she seemed to understand it and comment on it. I think that's a bit of a statement about Shakespeare. That, you know, I had said earlier that my daughter, when she was 6 years old, say, had watched Romeo and Juliet the whole way through. You know, when writing is not there, when you're watching scenes acted out, it's easier to understand. And when you think about it, young children, how many scenes, both comic and tragic, do they see acted out? I just had to mention that. And then finally, before we get going on today, Henry V, that's a play, a movie version of a play that I did not mention. And I wondered in a way why. I know why I didn't. It's very good. It's the play, really. It's the movie that made Kenneth Branagh's name as a Shakespearean actor and director and producer. But I want to save it. I'd rather you not watch it yet. I want to save that for later in the year. I have plans for it. We're certainly not going to watch the whole thing. But it's very good. I mean, and if you're unstoppable and you've just decided, I love Shakespeare, and you want to see everything, go for it. It's very good. So I left that up. All right. Oh, that's my dog. Someone's leaving the farm. Well, we're on a farm. You'll hear that. All right, what I'd like you to do, I'd like to start the Chronological Survey of the Humanities, and I think that you'll find that is section 18. I think you'll find it page 18.1, or maybe 19.1, I'm not sure. But I'd like you to turn to the Chronological Survey of the Humanities, and then the question is presented to me anyway, where do we start? If we're going from the oldest to the newest, okay, where do we start? What's the oldest that we can go? And I used to like to put that to my students, say, tell me something that's really, really old. And they would, you know, come up with old stuff. Their grandparents. Older, I would say, oh, come on, older. And eventually maybe someone would say the Bible. I say, no, that's really, really old. The pyramids, you're really getting old. Well, so where do we start? And where I like to lead that discussion is eventually I'll say, well, how can you go as far back as it's possible to go? You simply can't go any further back than that. And I'm looking for the word creation. Start with creation. Well, you could easily argue, and probably should argue, that creation, that's not the humanities, but the versions of creation, the stories that humans hold dear about creation, those are examples of human expression. And it seems to me that humans everywhere have had to have some explanation of how did everything come to be. And stories about creation. That's where I'd like to start. All I do here is write down creation, and then I'll go on. Oh, notice I tabbed in. This would be on underneath Chronological Survey of the Humanities. I'd skip a line and tab in a little bit. Yeah, wait, I have it here. In another student's notes from earlier years, there's, well, you probably can't see. There's Chronological Survey of the Humanities, and there it says creation. But what I would like to do next is jump to genres, a different section. Now, you've got your notes set up, I hope, as I've asked. To play a baseball game, you got to have a baseball glove, and I hope you've got your glove there. Well, I'd like you now to turn to genres. I think that is page 3.1. I think. I mean, take a look. It should be already set up. I think it's the third section, first page. Genres. And then I hope you have it centered up. I think I maybe forgot to tell you to do that. But I hope you've got it centered up or looking nice. Well, on the very next line, you could center this up as well and give a definition. What do I mean by genres? In parentheses, because this is a definition, I'll say, well, that's kinds of literature. Kinds of literature. Like there's letters, there's movies, there's novels, there's documentaries, there's scripture, there's law. I mean, there's so many kinds of literature. Now, what's literature? I won't pause to have you write that down, but as far as I'm concerned, literature is recorded language. Anyway, right in there, you may well remember this, HF, henceforth lit. The editor has interrupted and announced, hey, from now on in here, we're not going to write literature anymore. We're just going to say lit. So, genres. And the first genre that we come to, I would say skip a line now, go all the way over to the left, and there write down creation stories. That is a kind of literature. And there are hundreds of them, I imagine. Well, I'm sure there's dozens. I'm tempted to say there are as many creation stories as there are languages, which would be around 5,000 human languages. But that's not true. I shouldn't say that. But there are dozens, if not hundreds, of creation stories. And I think I'm going to run out before my 10 minutes that I try to work with is used up. So run out of time. So I think I'll stop here and then resume in a second video for today. Auf Wiedersehen, meine deutsche Freundin.